It's January 29th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but Michael Saylor wants us to know that Bitcoin is the end game. He's sitting here playing chess. Most other people are doing what? They're playing with Pokemon cards, which is fine, by the way. Nothing wrong with Pokemon cards. But Michael Saylor is playing the end game. So let's make it happen because he wants us to know that we buy real Bitcoin. We audit our custodians. We don't rehypothecate. You shouldn't either. And Adam sums this up by saying, real Bitcoin only. There is no second best. And there is no second best, my friends. Real Bitcoin only. Next post is from Strategy, who wants us to stay humble and stack sats. Bitcoin. And that is Strategy, consistently delivering Bitcoin yield since 2020. Here we go. Just 43%, up 1.8, up 7.3, up 74%. Man, I remember that year. That was sweet. Up 22%. And then here we are from 25 into 26, starting to climb once again this year. Hermé says MSTR 8 days until updated forward guidance. And as of today, it's actually 7 days until we get a masterclass by MicroStrategy, Fong Li, and the entire strategy team. Adrian says, in case there's anything was unclear about strategy and how they custody their Bitcoin, again, Michael Saylor just wants people to know that we buy real Bitcoin, we audit our custodians, we don't rehypothecate. You shouldn't either. And this is just, going out to those fudders who are like, oh, Strategy's buying paper Bitcoin, or where's the proof of reserves, or all these different things. Like, Michael Saylor is just coming to set the record straight. Absolutely. Period. End of story. And here's that post by Adrian right here. Jeff Walton says, with the establishment of the USD reserve against preferred equity commitments, Strategy will likely be the largest publicly traded holder of Bitcoin and the largest publicly traded holder of U.S. Treasuries. 3 years of dividends against $1 trillion of notional pref at 10% equals $300 billion. Jeez, TBTF with the googly eyes. So Saylor is just creating a monster. We can't say it enough. Chris says, Strategy is going to be the only public corporate company to ever reach one Nakamoto, and that is 1 million Bitcoin. And they are more than 70% of the way there. British Hodl says, Bitcoin's starting to feel bullish. Remember those that gave up. They will psyop you with renewed bullishness soon. British Hodl just loves to call it like it is. He is a very snarky guy from England who just doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. So he's willing to say exactly what's on his mind. Ron Sovereignty Swanson says, you're looking at Bitcoin wrong. Do it from the lows. 2009 to 2010, it got to 0.003 cents. That was a good year. 2011, 30 cents to $2. 2012, $4, 13, $65. And I'll just keep going 1 year up and naming the low of Bitcoin. $200, $185, $365, $780, $3,200, $3,420, $3,800, $29,000. That was a good year. $15,800, $16,700. Those were some brutal years. $40,000, $74,000, $86,000. The trend is your friend. And the trend, my friends, is looking up, up, and away. I do have an announcement to make. I now have taken a significant position in Strive. I've been watching it for months and months and months. I love the team over there. I love Matt Cole, Jeff Walton, Ben Workman, all those guys. I've been unbelievably impressed by what they're doing. So I went ahead and I've now taken a very large position in Strive. I didn't decide to dip my toes in. I just went all in. Now, to be clear, I'm basically 70% MSTR, 20% MetaPlanet, and 10% Strive. But that 10% is a significant amount of dirty fiat that's now been converted into ASST shares. I got all in at 80 cents per share. I just went ahead, said I'm not even dollar cost averaging. I just feel like this is a great entry point. And you'll be hearing a little bit more from them going forward now that I own a big position, and I'm looking to kind of round out this Treasury Titan with MSTR, with MetaPlanet and with Strive. And I'm open to adding a fourth treasury titan if one establishes itself as a worthy addition. So keep me updated in the comment section if you think there are other worthy additions. But I'm just really impressed with what Strive's been doing. They successfully just had their merge with Saylor to acquire that Bitcoin. And as Ben Workman says here, the mission continues. Strive has now entered the top 10, but the work has just begun. And this is just a video of Strive entering the top 10 of Bitcoin treasury companies as far as how many Bitcoin they hold on their treasury, in their treasury. And Adam says, ASST is the best value in Bitcoin treasury game right now, in my humble opinion. If you believe Bitcoin is going up, the return should be immense. Let's say you have 15,000 shares invested at 83 cents. Bitcoin is currently at 90,000. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 200,000. That's a 2.22x factor. Let's also say that's SATA, which is their preferred stock. That they increase the Bitcoin yield 30% while we wait for 200,000 Bitcoin, which will probably be more. They're already at plus 21% for the year. So that underlying Bitcoin value per share would increase the multiplying factor by 2.889x. There's also equity leverage from the 37% amplification. That's a 4x total multiplying factor. And then let's say Bitcoin price mania hype drives the NAV from to 2 from 1.1. So right now it's at 1. Let's say it goes to 2x MNAV, which is very reasonable. Could go higher for sure. But from the MNAV expansion, it adds a 1.82 multiplying factor. All inputs together leads to a 7.27x share price multiplier. So basically with these inputs, the stock would go from 83 cents to $6, turning 15,000 into $90,000. If you don't like the it's fine if you don't like the assumptions, but the model works. If Bitcoin moons, I'm buying more. And by the way, Bitcoin mooning doesn't even mean 200,000 to me. Bitcoin mooning means 700,000 plus. Bitcoin mooning here is just like basically a 2.5x. That's nothing. That's not even a one, a double from the recent high, just like about 150 days ago. So I think all this is reasonable. I'm excited for my Strive position. We'll keep monitoring that. The Bitcoin historian just posted, just in, billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy Strive just bought $30 million worth of Bitcoin. They're now the 10th largest public company holding Bitcoin. So congratulations. And Adam says, you're telling me I can buy assist at near 1x MNAV and get 37% amplified Bitcoin, plenty of runway for Bitcoin yield, and the potential for multiple expansion? Sounds cheap to me. And this is Matt Cole's updates about Strive acquiring 339 Bitcoin, the 10th largest corporate Bitcoin hodler. 92% of Saylor debt retired with plans of 100% by April, 30% amplification ratio, 90% amplification from SATA. I mean, this is really cool stuff. I love their dashboard here. And at the end of the day, what I love most about this company is they know that Michael Saylor has shown them the way, and they are just following in Michael Saylor's footsteps. Yet they're a $1 billion company compared to MSTR being over 50 billion. So they're 50. So MSTR is 50 times bigger than ASST, which just basically means that when this runs, there's more risk to the downside for Assist and Strive, but there's also more upside potential as far as percentage appreciation of the overall market cap. Jeff says, Strive now holds 13,131 Bitcoin. 129 days ago, they had 69 Bitcoin. Now a top 10 publicly traded hodler of Bitcoin globally. 1.1 billion on the balance sheet and 0.1 billion in debt. That's a 0.8% leverage. 37% amplified. We're on a mission to accumulate Bitcoin, and we're not stopping. They are not stopping. Now, I don't want to not mention MetaPlanet because, I'm a huge believer in MetaPlanet. They're my second biggest position in the Bitcoin treasury world, and they are continuing to drive forward in an incredibly powerful way. MetaPlanet closed its first institutional shares in Wars transaction to accelerate our Bitcoin strategy. Total proceeds of up to 21 billion yen, comprising of 12.2 billion shares issued at 5% premium. That's 499 yen, and up to 8.8 billion from one-year warrants issued at 50% premium. All this is saying that MetaPlanet is buying more Bitcoin. They're buying more Bitcoin. They're adding it to their balance sheet so their flywheel can continue. So listen, this is MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. Finally, it seems like we have a couple worthy Titans to talk about in MetaPlanet and Strive. So we'll be covering them as it warrants going forward. Of course, this is still going to be a majority focused MSTR channel because Michael Saylor is the ultimate Chad. Let's be honest. He's going the distance, and we are too. And speaking of Michael Saylor, we have a great video clip as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement accounts. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the US government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get into. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. When you want more for your business, start with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Your business identity is more than your logo or website. It's everything that defines who you are and how you operate, from what your customers see to what they don't, like operating agreements, meeting minutes, and compliance paperwork. With Northwest, you'll get more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, and more free resources than you'll find anywhere else. For nearly 30 years, Northwest Registered Agent has helped entrepreneurs form, grow, and protect their businesses. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in America, powered by over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know the local laws and can help you every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free.
And that would make that the most successful product ever. And so humility dictates that once you come up with a good idea, you might want to focus 100% of your energy in making that idea successful. And it's cavalier and irresponsible to like run off and chase after the next 99 ideas, like, because you're putting at risk the important one. You're putting at risk, just like, that's why I'm a conservative defender of the protocol. I don't like big protocol, because if Bitcoin is the idea and it's already succeeding and it's going from nothing to 2 trillion to 20 trillion to 200 trillion, then don't put that at risk, right? Don't put that at risk until you have overwhelming global consensus that the thing that you're doing is necessary to de-risk it. Right. And if I want to destroy a company, I just walk into the boardroom with 100 good ideas and I have them fund all of them. If I want to destroy the protocol, I just fund 100 BIP proposals with unlimited money, and I get the best engineers and I fund everything. And if you want to destroy a city, you fund every possible program. You know, we're going to clean up the environment and we're going to give free lunches and free this and free that. And you know, you see what happens in Minneapolis, like, oh, we got to give like child health care and it's free and we got to do it fast. And pretty soon you find out that you're funding non-existent children. You know, like they notice, you know, there's this explosion of autism and all of these other ADHD diagnoses. Well, when the government gives you $10,000 a year for every person diagnosed with autism or ADHD, you will generate a lot more of those diagnoses. If the government's buying that diagnosis, the free market generates it. So if you decide, if you have infinite power or infinite money, if you're a politician with infinite power and you want to pursue 100 good ideas, that's what destroys the society. And if you're a businessman, a CEO, and you have infinite money and you have 100 good ideas and you presume, that's what destroys the company.
Yeah. So just staying laser focused. I love it. Earlier when you were talking about digital money, recently you've just started stacking dollars as well as Bitcoin. Is that with an idea of being that liquidity pool for a digital money, or is that more to try and sort of get rid of some of the nervousness around investing in the preferreds because of the interest payments?
The reason for creating a USD reserve is to improve the credit worthiness of the company in the eyes of the credit investors.
Okay.
Right? The people that are buying the credit are buying the credit because they think Bitcoin's too volatile.
Mm-hmm.
And they think the equity's too volatile. You see?
Yeah.
Right? And so you can do things that are good for a Bitcoin investor. Someone that wanted, if you're an equity investor, you want more Bitcoin, more volatility. But if you're a credit investor, right, you want something which is most credit worthy. So how do you improve the credit worthiness of the company? If you want to be the biggest issue of digital credit, well, those investors, they don't really have a strong view on Bitcoin one way or the other, but they don't like volatility. They don't like uncertainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you're creating a credit profile in the eyes of, say, the S&P credit rating agencies, or Fitch or Moody's, or in the eyes of a very conservative credit investor. So, like it's complicated for me to assess the statistical risk of being able to generate $800 million of cash over the next 12 months in the equity markets. But it's not complicated to assess whether or not you have $800 million of cash in the bank if you have $800 million cash, right?
Yeah.
Right? If I said to you, if your life depended on it, like, Danny, I'm going to put a gun to your head, I'm going to pull the trigger and blow your brains out. What's the second best? There is no second best.